Now let's see how we can create HTML files. Creating HTML files using the stream, it's very simple, right? Just change the extension to HTML, right? And I'll be commenting out this loop, right? And simply by using writer dot like writer dot write, and I can simply write the HTML code over here. So HTML code, as in I'm gonna write a HTML tag, HTML, the open tag, and then the close tag, right? The same way the HTML is written, right? Then we're gonna have a body tag, and then a close body tag, right? Then we're gonna have a title tag and a close title tag, right? Inside the title I can write way to automation, right? And then I can have the h1 tag, as in the heading tag, and the close h1 tag, right? I can write learning Java from way to automation.com, right? Like this, and I can comment it out. That's it. That's all we need to do. Let's run this and see if the HTML is being created or not. It shows that the file created, and this is the HTML file. If I double click and open it, you can see the heading learning Java from way to automation.com, and the title of the file is way to automation. So it's very simple. It's very easy to write and create files using the file streams, right? Now, next thing, we're gonna see how to read from the file, right? So again, we would be needing this the streams, but there will be different classes for the streams over here, right? It's almost similar. The thing that we have done for writing, we will be changing it to reading, right? So same thing like for writing, we have created a file writer, then the buffer writer, and then we have changed all these streams. Same thing for reading a text file using Java, we will be using an input. We'll actually gonna give the path where the file that we need to read is actually stored, right? And we'll use the input stream to use that file and chain it to the previous step, right? Same thing, instead of buffer writer, we'll be needing a buffer reader. This is again an internal class. It will help in reading the content from the file, and will again chain it to the previous step, and at the end we'll close the stream. So this is a sample code. Instead of file writer and buffer writer, we have used file reader and buffer reader, and then we're gonna see how we have used this loop in order to read and write read the data from that particular file, right? So let's come back to Eclipse and create a new class over here, and we can name it as, let's say, reading files, right? Now the very first thing, same way, we need to create connecting streams, right? Connecting streams, as in the very first I'll be saying file f equal to new file, right? I'm gonna take the same path of the file that we will be reading. We'll be reading the text file, right? So I'll change it to .txt, right? And I'll import this file, right? And after this, we need the file reader fr equal to new file reader, and we're gonna give f over here, right? Again, import it as the exception, right? And then we need buffered reader reader equal to new buffered reader, and chain it to fr, right? So these are the connecting streams that we have created for reading a my text file.txt. Now next thing, we need to read the content from the text file, read the text file, right? So there's a method that is a reader dot read. There's something called as read line. So what this read line will gonna do, this will actually gonna read the very first line. Like it only read a single line from this file. The single line as in if I go over here to the text file, it will gonna read this particular line. I'll add some more values to it, some more values, and then I'll gonna say last line over here, right? And I'm gonna write first line over here, right? So if I run this thing, if I just print it, it is actually going to return it in a form of a string. So I can directly print it, and I'm going to add the exception that it is returning. And then at the end, I'm going to close the stream. So I can say reader dot close, right? Now let's run this and let's see what it is gonna print. It prints the first line, the very first line, right? And same thing if I again write this thing, so it will actually gonna move to the next line and we're gonna print the second line. So if you see the second line inside this document, that is this, and it has actually printed the same value right over here in the console. Now let's see with the help of a loop how we can actually read these entire things, the entire content inside a text file. So loop, how we're going to create that loop? We don't know up till where we need to run the loop, so we're going to create some while loop, right? Till the condition is met, this loop will going to run, right? Now till the condition is met, it will actually gonna do this thing again, that is reader dot read line, right? Now what happens, what condition that we can apply over here, this reader dot read line will gonna actually read the first line, right? So if I say a condition while reader dot read line equal to null, or let's say whether when it is not equal to null. So when it is not equal to run, it should actually gonna read this line. And if I run this thing, let's see what it will gonna print. So it has printed something like 48, 70, 50, and then the last line. And if we take a look over here, it has actually skipped the very first line. And next time, if I run this again, see it is not picking up the very first line. Now what is happening over here, whenever you say reader dot read line, what it is actually doing is that it is actually reading the first line over here, and then when you again say reader dot read line, it actually comes the pointer to the second line, right? So we need to do something over here as in I can write something like string line equal to null, right? And then over here I can say line equal to reader dot read line, right? And then instead of passing this, I can pass the line over here, right? Now what happens, as soon as I run this, it will gonna read the first line as well, right? Now any big file it is, if you add more values over here, right, something like this, and if you rerun your code, it will actually gonna read the entire stuff. See, this is the last value, and if you see over here, this is the last value, right? So this is how you can make it work using a loop, right? You can read the entire data from this particular file. So if you take a look at this loop, what it is doing whenever we say reader dot read line, right? So there is the line, the very first line gets stored over here, and we are passing it to this line reference over here, right? So now at the very first time it is null, right? Then a value gets assigned to this reference, right? And when it is not null, it actually start printing the value that is assigned over here. It will actually going to do reader dot read line all the time, and it closes the buffer writer, the buffer reader actually, right? So this is how it will actually gonna work.